is now at crossroads of whether or not the value of a healthy river is greater than both its cost and effort. Should Chicago be united in taking care of our resources for the benefit of recreationalists and wildlife? Or should we try to maintain low taxes and help businesses prosper?
Before European settlement, the North Branch of the Chicago River contained three small streams with headwaters near present-day Deerfield, Glencoe, and Winnetka.
Because the many streams and rivers served as excellent transportation between the Mississippi River and Lake Michigan, the Chicagoland area became more populous. As a result, the growth of the city led to more sewage and a high concentration of waste and byproducts.
Meatpacking plants and the stockyards used the river as a drainage system. The dumping of waste from industrial and commercial development led to signs of pollution and increased concern about the dangers the river posed to public health.
It wasn't until 1972 that federal government and the Illinois EPA agency made it a requirement to have a permit in order to dispose of anything into the river. Before then, Chicago had been free to treat the river as its own sewer system.
The Illinois EPA sets up standards and issues permits for the waterways themselves and then discharges that go into those permits. And then we monitor those discharges. And for the waterways themselves and then discharges that go into those permits. And then we monitor those discharges and make sure that they're complying with their permits.
The Clean Water Act has been revised several times over the last 60 years. It has been the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency's job to make sure all bodies of water within Illinois are standardized and safe.
Normally the wastewater is captured, sent through pipes to some very large wastewater treatment plants where the water is purified and then discharged in a clean state back into the waterways.
When I was kayaking in one of the Chicago River Day races, I didn't have any more water, so I took a drink from the river, and I got pretty sick a couple days later. I got really sick.
The Illinois EPA recommended disinfection after conducting a 5-year study to review existing and potential uses of the river. The study found more people than ever are using the river for recreation.
Also, the Chicago River is home to many fish and other wildlife. These animals also benefit from the disinfection process by the preservation of their home and habitat.
Cleaning the water would be beneficial to all species because it is in the best interest to be able to keep the native species thriving in the Chicago River above anything else.
So if disinfection both helps environmentalists and kayakers stay safe and maintains a healthy environment for the wildlife surrounding the river, what stops us from cleaning the mess?
Opposition towards disinfection comes from the cost and the question of whether it is necessary for such a large disinfection procedure to take place.
If Chicago wanted to disinfect the effluent before it goes into the river, then Chicago is looking at spending anywhere from $25 million to $900 million in costs. Lowest estimate requires a household to contribute $2 a month for the next 20 years to fund the project. The city needs to consider how great of a priority disinfection is. Chicago is already under a tight budget, and the money used toward the river will ultimately be for the sake of fish and the small population of boaters on the river. While a clean river is nice to boast, the city may not be able to afford it. The current standards on the Chicago River are being kept 100%, and the water is perfectly suitable for barge traffic, commercial use, and minimal contact water activity. Chicago is a large city, and the river serves as an effective way to transport goods in the downtown area and throughout the rest of the city. By using barges and boats to haul the goods, we save a lot of energy and reduce the amount of trucks in the downtown area. The University of Illinois conducted a study on the health of people post-interaction with the Chicago River and concluded a little less than 4% of illness resulted from 3,500 cases. The Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, WMRD, is the muscle behind Illinois' EPA standards. They are the crew that works to keep all of Cook County's water standardized. Thus, these workers will be the ones who will have to work harder to comply with EPA's increasing standards of disinfection. The Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago claims that the Chicago River is perfectly fine.
It's either drainage water or sometimes it's water that's from a shop or something.
Really?
But it's somewhat kept track of. It's not totally 100%. I mean, sometimes there's pipes that no one knows what's coming out of it.
In the end, there is still a large debate of whether or not the river should be disinfected.
They should clean the river as much as they can, because the wildlife needs as much of the river as they can get. We can't just keep polluting it because it's a dirty river. And I know it will cost a lot, but I do believe that things like that. So.